Oh, there he is.
I made it.
What the fuck happened? I think we're live.
Hey.
Something happened to the theme song. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Fucking happened. What the fuck happened? Oh, I know what I did. I did that fucking test stream the other day and I took the fucking song out, I think. Is that what I
Well,
did?
we're live now, so.
Yeah, we're fucking live. Shall I fuck the song?
Stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. N-I-C-K, mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix of that dabbling politics mix. So when I fudge, you laugh punk. Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back out, tell me what you're gonna touch now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 You wanna mess with dabbling in politics? You can't mess with dabbling in politics. Listen, we debate it all every week Saturday night, and this YouTube thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time, so you better get some better views and get saved up all your time. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabblers blasting out the political shit. The asking for shit, put bounce in the dabble pit. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna touch now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 Hey ladies, where you at? Hey fellas, where you at? And the dabblers that don't give a fuck, where you at?
Welcome to Dabbling in Politics. I am OG Mumbling Nick. With me, as always, is Mr. Liquid Cryptid. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How's everything going today?
Well, very rocky. I had a rough fucking weekend, man. Fucking Christ. Sorry about the fuck up at the beginning, guys. Yesterday, for the first time since I started streaming, I had internet problems for a few hours, right when I was supposed to be on with the fucking pineapple. So before I went back on one of the times, I did like a 1-minute test stream to see if my shit was working, and it wasn't really working right. But when I did that, I took all the intros out so it wouldn't fucking play the intros, and I totally forgot. So we kind of just went live, and then I don't know, clusterfuck. And I had a really, really, really rough show with fucking Rochi and fucking Hoozy yesterday, the pineapple. So anyway, fuck, enough with me. Everyone knows why we're here. We had Joseph Samuel Catalano, 2028 presidential candidate. Yeah, last week for an interview. He's supposed to be coming back. Hopefully, I don't know. I got to talk with Joey. Liquid and I are thinking, maybe monthly while he's doing this, every 3-4 weeks. See if he
Yeah, I was
comes on
thinking
with
like
us.
last Sunday of every month would be would probably be good to give them time to prepare for stuff.
Yeah, and we don't want to saturate. If Joey's on every week, it'll lose its mystique. It'll lose its oomph. But yeah, and give him time to prep for more in detailed answers on certain topics. But we kind of came up with this idea, like in between waiting for Joey to come on, we could anyone that thinks that they could do a better job than Joey or be a better president than Joey could come on, and we'll have like a mock presidential interview. So I will bring on the first guest we have. You know him, you love him, American Cupcake. How are we doing, sir?
Good evening, guys. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Liquid Cryptid, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you finally, sort of semi face to face.
Yeah.
First, we want to thank you very much, Cupcake. The idea just kind of came to me and I threw it to Liquid and he liked the idea, but he brought up the point. He's like, I don't know if we can get anyone to do it. And then thankfully you were right off the bat. And I think we have a couple other people interested. So I think we got at least the first few weeks set up as long as people can make it. So it should be fun. And
yeah, it's pretty exciting. That's pretty good.
Just to let everybody know, Cupcake, you see he's all dressed up. So he's going to be answering these questions like he's running for president, sort of thing. Just, we know he's not, but just a little wink, wink, like he's running for president. So Liquid and I didn't really talk about it, but I figured we'll just kind of go back and forth, alternating, whatever, questions and shit like that.
We didn't really created a list of questions.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I told Cupcake, we might throw in a few of the same ones that Joey had just to get, different answers to the same questions. But there'll be some different ones because Joey, he had his main policy there, and Cupcake seems to be into immigration or very knowledgeable in immigration more firsthand than most of us are. So I figure we can focus on that too. But I will just get the first question out of the way, and it will be the first question I asked Mr. Catalano. Why are you running for president, Mr. American Cupcake?
Well, I mean, the main reason, like I said, my main focus is going to be immigration reform. Obviously, for the last 20 years, if not longer, since even Ronald Reagan, there has been an immigration issue. Reagan did the blanket amnesty, and there are good people that are coming here. They're coming here through illegal channels, yes, but most of the time, majority of the time, they're here to work. So I have ideas and plans that will focus on making sure that you don't have to send for the smartest and the brightest to work at your tech companies. We do have a lot of people that would be willing to work, but they're not, they're laborers. Mm-hmm. We do need programs for that. And another slight issue that has been on the table for a long time that I'd like to focus on too would be recreational marijuana legalization. I would be working with Tammy Duckworth, my senator here in Illinois. She's a Democrat, so that would be working across the aisle. But to get some reform on that, it worked in Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, and that's something that I believe not as strongly as immigration, but it's something that we can work on. We could talk about.
Interesting. I love knowing everyone has policies that are more important to them. I haven't been shy about mine are mostly like working class economic issues, but I'm fascinated by people that are into other issues like immigration. And I've been open about my past drug use. I actually am completely sober, but I was never into marijuana. But I actually think everyone should be able to. It's ridiculous that people can drink but can't smoke marijuana in all states like legally. It's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. So
right, and more people die of alcohol poisoning and alcohol related accidents than marijuana anything. So we need to do a stronger exploratory investigation on that kind, those kind of statistics. But I'm sure you'll find that the consequences are a lot less drastic than those of alcohol and liquor.
I will say that I just moved from a state where marijuana is legal for recreational use, and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, right. Like, it's
I
funny
mean,
where
people, the arguments against
go
it
ahead.
are like, oh, everybody's going to be smoking weed in the streets and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Did not happen.
Yeah.
I literally live in an area where I could walk to a dispensary that way, and I could walk to a dispensary that way. And yeah, you see the different people that go. One of them's right next to a grocery store, the grocery store that I shop at, so I go by it like all the time. And you see all kinds of, you see professional people, you see young people, old people. It's
Right.
black, white. It's a mixture. Everyone's going in there. So yeah, it's not this thing. I think this harmful gateway thing that people think it is that can lead to all this stuff.
Right.
Before we get to the next question, I just want to let you know you already have 2 votes. Vagina Wrinkle and Dale are already voting for American Cupcake.
Wow. Thank you, guys.
The first question.
But you don't even know what he does and doesn't like about immigration yet. That's what I'm here to find out. But
yeah, I didn't say
we can definitely go into that. That's, if we want to start off with that, we can.
Well, my first question is actually, from what you just recently said, I'm assuming you're running as a Republican?
Yes.
All right. Excellent.
More of a conservative. I'm a registered libertarian, but obviously I would run on the Republican ticket, for obvious reasons.
Same. I'm also a registered libertarian, not because I believe much in what they do, but because they're the only third party that may eventually have a seat at the table.
Correct.
They're very close. So everybody, if you're not registered, go registered as libertarian, so we can get a third seat at the table here. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I'm actually more obviously a Green Party guy, but I absolutely libertarians are much closer, so I would actually have no problem with that either. Obviously, I actually agree with libertarians on a lot of things. Obviously, disagree on tons of things too, especially when it comes to, I think what those things are with
yes,
helping people out and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as personal liberties, I agree with libertarians mostly, so that's good. All right, I will. If during this campaign, would you be open to full transparency?
Absolutely. I mean, that's
nothing to hide.
Yeah, nothing to hide.
Fantastic. All right, so let's get right into your core issue then. Obviously, anything personal you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But I saw you put this out there. You are a child of an immigrant, I believe you said.
Yeah, I am a first generation American. My father is from Spain. My mother went to Spain in the 70s. A strong, independent woman went with her strong, independent friend roommate to Spain to go study. With the intention of being Spanish teachers. And she rented a room from this old lady, and coincidentally, the old lady's son came back from the army at the same time. And instead of going back in 3 months, my mom ended up staying a year. They got married, and my dad, the man who became my father, he was in the army in Spain. He's actually Jewish, and he was born in 1945 at the end of the war. And as we know, Francisco Franco was part of he was part of the Axis powers. He was a supporter, but he really wasn't a player. So when he was younger, he and my grandmother fled to the mountains of Spain so that they could, they ended up being non-practicing Jews. But I am half Jewish by blood, with non-practicing, of course. But he then went to Barcelona, and he with his in the army, he was a medic. So he was back then he was, I guess you would call him like a paramedic, not a full doctor, but you would go to him, and then he would tell you what you would need to tell the doctor, like, okay, this is wrong with you. I can give you this, but I can't help you with this. You're going to need to go see this specialist, this doctor. When they moved to the United States, my father was sponsored by my mother to become a citizen, and he could not do that job here in the United States. And my father started his first job here in the United States was a janitor. You know, going from the town doctor, because they lived in a small, you know, he grew up in a small town back in Barcelona. But going from the town doctor, you know, making good money, but under a fascist, you know, let's be real, Ferdinand Franco was fascist. My dad will never say anything bad about him though, because he is the one that made him a doctor, you know.
Doctor,
so
right.
But there were other things. You know, there were other things that that were not good, especially for my mom being an American. So they moved here, and my dad is actually an American success story. You know, he is the American dream. He came here as a janitor. He started from the very bottom. My mom was a teacher, and over the years, my dad, would go to night school, and both of my parents, my dad ended up being a professor of biology. He started when his first teaching job was when he was 55, because he was a limo. I mean, he went from, janitor to, pharmaceutical sales. Then he was a limo driver. My dad did all these jobs, and then eventually he did become a biology professor. And now both of my parents are, retired, living in the South, and they, Southern Texas, and they retired both as teachers. My mom was a high school Spanish teacher, and my dad was a professor of biology.
Nice.
So my, that's. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and my dad instilled in me when I was born. My dad didn't speak any English, but he instilled in me that he came to America for a better opportunity. He came and did it the right way, legally, was sponsored by my mom, did the test, became a citizen. But while we did speak Spanish in the house and we did have Spanish culture at home, outside the home, he was an American. He emulated the melting pot of America. He assimilated to be an American. And that instilled in me a form of, I guess, patriotism, for lack of a better term, that, America is a pretty awesome country. You can come from being a janitor to being a highly respected biology professor.
Right. No, absolutely. Just even though we're doing serious stuff here, the Dabbleverse will still have a little fun. So
right on.
Yeah, giant anchor baby. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he was. They actually lived in the United States 2 years before I was born. So.
Oh, fair enough. And real quick before we get into more detail, I believe you said your wife or ex-wife was also in
my ex-wife. I was married for 18 years. She was, when we met, I was working at a factory, and she came here illegally. She overstayed her tourist visa.
Yeah.
And she got, we can go into let's just go into it now. The illegal immigrant community is a lot more than just farmers and people picking crops and getting paid cash under the table. There is a whole market for illegal documents, and basically identity theft.
Yeah.
And, she had a fake social security number. She had a fake green card, and she used those to get a job in a factory. I mean, a lot of factory workers are illegal immigrants using falsified documents. That's that's one of my key issues too about workers, like I said before, and we can get into that in a second. But we met, I knew, because I grew up. Okay, here's the thing. My real government name, obviously my dad's from Spain. I'm a junior. My real government name is a very Hispanic name. Like you look at my, I can't tell you how many times people have looked at my ID, then looked at my face, and when I start speaking Spanish, then they're like, oh, okay then. So in school, obviously they would call me by my name, and I would say, well, I go by this, and I was always too Hispanic to hang out with the white kids. So then the Hispanic and Mexican kids kind of took me in. I was I don't know if you've ever seen. If you've seen any kind of East Los Angeles, Vatos Locos, hey, orale, Holmes, what's going on? Yeah. There's always the one white guy
That was you.
Yeah.
That was me. I was JD. I was Miklo. I so um so
So you were
and
the, I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say you were the baddest guy in the gang. There was some stand-up they used to do. It might have been Chappelle. He's like, you see a white guy hanging out, that's the baddest guy in the group. You don't know what shit that guy's fucking done to gain the respect of those other guys. Some shit like
right,
that.
right. That was I mean, and that was basically it. And I wasn't a badass at all, but that persona, that was the grift, if you will say, the persona that we in my little crew of 5 dudes that I still talk to this day. It was a core, just the 5 of us. And well, I could tell this story too. So I don't know if you're aware of the difference. This is kind of what kind of endeared me to my wife. So the difference between like Spain and Mexico, and speaking Spanish, is the difference between England and America, the United States, speaking Spanish. For example, the phrase "take the sport coat out to the sun so it dries." In Mexican Spanish, it would be "saca el saco al sol para que se seque." In Castilian Spanish, and this is absolutely exaggerated, but you'll get the point, it's "saca el saco al sol para que se seque." So
Right.
I grew up speaking the Spanish, and then my friends would be like, "Quit talking like a Mo,"
Yeah.
and God, say this, say this. So I adapted the Mexican accent, and so to get down to it, I adapted a Mexico City, a Mexico City accent when I speak Spanish now, and that is what endeared me to her to say, "Holy cow, this guy, how did you, why do you speak like that?" And I made her a citizen, went through the process, and because she came here illegally, we had to pay big fines. We had to wait 10 years before she could even leave the country to go to Mexico. She couldn't get, she was real paranoid about even getting like a speeding ticket, anything, any negative mark within those 10 years would have been something negative, of course. And we went through it. The citizenship test is actually the same as the Constitution test you take when you're in 8th grade. And her daughter, my stepdaughter, was in 8th grade at the time she was taking the Constitution test. So it was like, and we had a really, traditional family. I was working a really good job. So she was able to be a stay-at-home mom. And at the, around the dinner table, we would talk about, the Constitution test, let's test mom, let's test, sister, let's, so that, so I know the ins and outs of becoming a citizen, and I am familiar. I do know and am familiar with a lot of the illegal community because I lived there. I was part of it. Because of my accent when I spoke, and because I spoke so naturally, because of my friends in high school, people opened up to me. So yes, there are a lot more illegals in the United States than we're aware of. Then that's that we're told. Now, with that being said, as far as reform, these people are coming here to work. Okay. Yes. Are there drug dealers? Yes. Do we need to get rid of them? Yes. Are there the random, single guys that get too hammered and, get drunk and kill people yes. Do they need to go to jail and then get deported back to Mexico? Yes. But with the honest people who are just here to work, we need to implement a system like we do for Indian workers who are in tech. They get work visas that, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, depending on your experience, depending on your record at home. We can do that for small labor jobs as well. And
there is a system already in place for that.
There is, but it's mainly for it's mainly for tech workers. It's mainly for higher end jobs. It's not for like construction workers. It's not for factory workers, which is where a majority of illegal, and the majority of them are Mexican. That's where a majority of them work, and they're in the shadows. they're paying taxes without, really getting anything back. And it's, I would work with Congress and the Senate to try to find a way to make that work.
So I actually really do appreciate that, Cupcake, and I think you're a unique situation to comment on this sort of thing. When Liquid and I started this channel, I believe we both had the vision of, we both watch a lot of independent media on YouTube, like political media.
Same here.
And some leans left, some leans right. But we didn't feel like the average person even gets representation, because even though these people are independent, they are still making really good money doing this. So they don't understand personally the everyday struggles that Americans are going through. So we kind of wanted representation for everybody on the show. Like, I represent one segment, he represents another.
Exactly.
Ava comes on a lot for the LGBT community. You can now represent the immigrant community, which I think is fantastic, because I can speak on it from what I know, but you can speak on it from personal experience. Like, what you say is real. I'm just going off of what I read and what I see and what I watch. So I just want to ask you one more question on this, and I want Liquid to get ask some questions. But I just wanted this comment came in. So I think this is what's unique for you is like, so you speak Spanish just like all the Central American, South American immigrants do, and but you come from a European country. So do you think, not you personally, but do you think, like, as a whole, or do you think the Mexican, South American type immigrants are viewed differently than the European immigrants that are here illegally?
I'm going to take it a step further and say that there's, how can I put this? The illegal immigrants that are coming from Europe, especially the ones who speak Spanish, they're ignored. They're ignored because and I hate to say it like this, but they're ignored because of the color of their skin. There's a lot of Polish illegal immigrants, who come on tourist visas. A lot of them come on tourist visas and just overstay, and that's how they stay in the country. But the illegal immigration from Europe, again, it's ignored. Is it as much of a number as coming from Central America and South America? No, but there is a contingency of people that are coming illegally from Europe.
Yeah, they just for political purposes, like I believe, was it Trump Tower? One of Trump's properties was built by undocumented immigrants from Poland, just like you said, Polish people. So yeah, it does happen, and yes, obviously more numbers come from down south, but a lot of it does. Even though there is a ton of too much illegal border crossing, there's even from down south, there's a lot of overstaying the visas, like you mentioned, or whatever. So
yeah,
I just wanted to ask you that because I think you're in a very unique situation to answer that, being an immigrant from European country, but someone that hung out with the immigrants from the Mexico and all that. So interesting. Thank you. Liquid, would you like to ask a question? Since I've been hogging the podium, I apologize.
Absolutely, yeah. I wanted to know, as I said, I don't really specifically know your politics outside of, you're obviously a conservative. What do you think about, what is your opinion on Trump's presidency this second term so far?
I'm a little disappointed. His first presidency, I was all for it. Obviously, I voted for him. But there are some things that, I'm like, what? A little disappointed. I'm not disappointed to the fact that where I'm like, I'll fuck Trump now. No, I'm not like that. There are things that, we'll just, for this example, the Epstein list, that was one of the things that he ran on. And, where is it? Is the Epstein list something that's going to change the way America runs? No. Is it something he said he would do and he hasn't done it yet? Yeah. Yeah. Does that bug me? A little bit.
As a follow-up, how do you feel about his especially like foreign trade and general economic policies?
Well, the tariffs, the tariffs do seem to be working. I was watching on YouTube. There was an auto company. I can't remember if it was Chevy or who it was. I wish I would have clipped it because I was gonna. But they had said that they, that due to the tariffs, they are going to. It was something like they were projected to have a $14 billion profit, but because of the tariffs, they're only going to get a $10 billion profit, and they're not going to cut jobs. They're not going to cut, salaries. They're going to eat that. They're going to eat that $4 billion because in the long run, they will be able to make that up in selling product.
Or so you do like the tariffs?
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be working. They seem to be working.
I agree with that. And also, I'll let Nick go next.
Sure.
I have a bunch of questions, but I don't want to hog them.
So I'll just throw my 2 cents in and we'll move on. Not that anyone cares. I actually, the tariffs, it has not been a disaster like predicted. So I fully give that. I'm still on a wait and see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not fully, but if it works, it works. I will fully admit, and I think Liquid and I talked about this. No experts on tariffs. It's actually a pretty boring topic when we even try looking into it. But yeah, if it ends up working out, fantastic. I understand the theory behind it. I just don't know if it always works the way it's supposed to work. So, but we'll see. My issue with Trump on it was he didn't really seem to know how they work either. He was just throwing random percentages and numbers out. But hopefully, someone got a hold of him to make it more realistic and all that shit. But anyway, I'm not the one running, so I'll shut my fucking mouth. All right, so just to move on a little bit from immigration, but I'm sure we'll get back to it since that's your expertise there. For the economy, how do you feel about minimum wage? Are you into raising it or abolishing it or keeping it where it is?
I mean, a minimum wage was never, it was a minimum. It was never meant, in my opinion, to sustain a family. It was to get you started. Should there be a federal minimum wage? No, I think that should be left up to the states. Our federal government is, there's really only 25 things, 25 rules, associated with the federal government. Everything else should pretty much be, left up to the states. So, I mean, if a certain state wants to, raise their minimum wage and have a $60 minimum wage, great. And would I live there? Probably not, because things are going to be expensive.
Yeah,
that's something I would leave up to the states.
Okay. We have our first agreement with Joey C. Everybody, American Cupcake and Joey C. agree on one policy so far. Joey did change that leading up to it. I think he was in favor of raising it to 18, but then he abolished it. So
yeah, he started with 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did a little research and found out there's no amount you could raise it to help anything.
Right.
Yeah. Here's the tricky thing on that, which I will agree with you guys on some of it. Like, I think it is ridiculous how low it is, but obviously, like, I live in the Northeast. Where I live, the minimum wage for the state, it's like in the teens. It's like 15, 60, whatever the heck it is up here. It's not even close to. It's double. It's the 7. So states do adjust. And I'm sure if people made what I make living in certain parts of Mississippi or something, they'd probably have a fucking house. And here I am renting an apartment in the city. So it all. I get the state thing because it does. I am into raising it, but I do understand that if you raise it to 18, it'll be great for some places. In other places, it'll probably wipe small business just right off the map because they won't be able to afford
exactly.
it. So I do have sympathy with it. That is being someone into all the working class issues. I've had to adjust my liberal thinking on certain things because it does hurt. It does hurt sometimes. All right, fair enough. So another economic question. Do you have, obviously you don't have any specific policies, but would you do something to fight inflation? Like, do you have any general ideas on how to fight inflation or to keep wages up with inflation, that sort of thing?
I would have to, as a candidate, I would have to look into more of the ins and outs of that. I'm not well versed on inflation and all that, so I would, as of right now, I would have to investigate that a little bit more.
All right,
To
fair
see
enough.
to see what fat can be cut, and to see what what we would have to do to lower inflation.
So before I ask you, would that be a similar thing on housing? Because like rent and mortgage is also a big issue, but I don't know. Again, that might be something you'd have to look more into before you could answer that. Okay.
Yeah, the housing market, I'd have to look into that more.
Gotcha.
I don't want to speak out of school on that one.
Fair enough. We'll get to general stuff you could obviously answer. So we'll move on to healthcare. Are you in favor of universal healthcare, a single payer, adding a public option, or keeping things as they are, all private? Like, do you have what would be American Cupcake's general healthcare policy?
I am absolutely against universal health care. When Obama came into office and Obamacare, the 2,000-page bill that nobody read and they just voted on, my insurance, when I was at my job, like I said before, that was able to sustain a family of 5, me, my wife, stepdaughter, and 2 boys, and a bunch of pets, and all the expenses that go with, being a homeowner. My insurance for a family of 5 was $150 a month, and that was vision and dental. It was great insurance. After Obamacare, that was supposed to lower rates and make everything more affordable, my family insurance went up to almost $450 a month.
Yeah, it's like what
that was ridiculous. So we had to go on the lower vision plan. And I'm not wearing my glasses now, but I wear glasses, so I always had to, I always got the best vision plan, so I could, get all the perks without having to spend extra money at the eye doctor. Dentist, we just went, to the basic plan just to get basic cleanings and stuff. But yeah, it was a detriment to my family. So that definitely has to be changed. And you don't want the government to dictate your health care. If you feel like you need, this insurance because you want to go to the doctor for every little sniffle, every little thing, okay. There are people, that they only need the minimum amount of, health care, health insurance, because that's, just the basics. But if the basics cost just as much as, the whole Cadillac package, and you're not going to use the Cadillac package, it's, you'd rather go without than having to spend all this extra money on things that you're not going to use. And it should be privatized. We do need competition. I want company A and company B to fight for my money. I work hard for my money. I'm not just going to give it away. Earn my business, earn my money. Show me why you're better than this company right here. That's why privatization is in my view superior than a public option.
All right. I'm sure. I think Liquid was nodding. I think he agrees with you. This is a big disagreement for me, but obviously, I figured we would disagree on this.
Absolutely. I think, if we deregulate the insurance companies and do it like we do with auto insurance, where it's basically catastrophic only, and everything else you have to pay out of pocket, and also once again make it so that insurance companies can actually operate outside of their specified regions, so that they do have to compete with each other, and the hospitals are going to be taking mostly cash. And they have to compete with each other. All the prices come down and the care gets better.
Right.
Yeah, but all right. I just want to address this. So that hasn't. I'll just say my piece and then Cupcake, you comment, please. So yeah, I don't like how it's tied to the employee either. I'm sure a lot of people. I'll just use me as an example because I don't want to speak for other people. But I have turned down what seemed like great job opportunities because there wouldn't be insurance for like the first 90 days or whatever. And I got kids, so I could never do that. So
I
I hate
understand.
how it's leaked to the employer.
Mhm.
Obamacare, I'm not a fan of either. Don't get me wrong. I'm from Massachusetts. Mitt Romney was governor up here once.
Oh,
That's basically what they had. Not I didn't have it. My family, my parents had private health care, but that was pretty much the health care up here that Obama stole. I wish she had gone with a public option at least, so we could have seen if it would have been at least a little better. But yeah, it's Obamacare seemed to help people that didn't have insurance or couldn't afford it, but hurt people. You can shake your head, but I know it did help some people that didn't have insurance.
No, I
Yeah.
actually was looking into the prices out here
Oh, sorry.
where I
I
live,
feel
of
what I said.
Obamacare, and looking at the actual prices on the website, and you're looking at around $850 a month for
That's what I'm saying. It's still
care through Obamacare.
it hurt some, it hurt people, but I think we're the greatest country in the world. I'm the rare liberal that actually, well, you'll never hear me say I want to leave this country. I actually do want to make this country better. So that's what I try. Not that anyone listens to me, but that's what I try and protest for and
Mhm.
fight for. But yeah, you'll never hear me like those celebrities. Like, if this guy's elected, I'm moving. Blah blah blah. No, I
right.
never do that. I try and no one that's been elected in my life I like. So I try and let's see if we can pressure them to do the right thing is pretty much, the best case scenario we have. So, but if we're supposedly the best country in the world, well, we have to have healthcare for everybody, like all these other countries do that aren't us. So I don't know, whatever, if it's single payer, I'm not tied to one single thing. I think Medicare for all is the one that's been proposed the most in this country, but I don't know. I think we have to do something. So just what would you say to people who are uninsured or are sick of having their healthcare tied to their employer?
Well, healthcare used to be tied to an employer as an incentive. Come work for us. We have health insurance. That's it shouldn't be, healthcare shouldn't be, tied to an employer. If an employer wants to attract the best workers, then yeah, you're going to say, look what we have to offer. We will pay half of your insurance, your health insurance. Now it's, we look what we have. Just we'll take it out of your check. No, make it, if it's tied to your employment, make it an incentive. Give me a reason to work for you. And as far as people who don't have insurance, I mean, our country is too big. We got 300 million people in this country. So yeah, there's going to be a portion of the country that don't have insurance and do need help. Am I, such a cruel, horrible Republican? I say, no, you will not have insurance. No, I'm not, I'm not like that at all. Take care of people. But at the same time, I'm okay with helping the helpless. I refuse to help the clueless.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't know. I think I don't know how to word it. Like sometimes kids have idiot fucking parents, and now they got to suffer because of their stupid. You know what I mean? Where it's really nothing to do with them. So I don't know. That's just my take on. I just think the rest of the world seems to have, healthcare not tied to their employer, and they seem to do much better with it overall. I get it. Maybe as on individual stances, it can hurt people, but it's to help everybody. I don't know. I just think it should be a right, but that's just me. We're not going to agree on that, so I'm not going to beat it.
Yeah. I mean, to add to that, I mean, yes, England has, a close to universal health care, but you also have to buy a license to watch TV.
No, right. There's I get it. There's lots of shitty things in other countries. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're like Texas now too, where you got to put in your ID if you want to watch Pornhub or something like that, so the government can see what you're watching and all that shit.
No, actually, Pornhub, in the states where you have to show your ID, Pornhub stood on business and said,
stop offering there, right?
Yeah, they were like,
yeah.
you know what? This state sucks because it wants your information before you can watch porn. We believe in freedom. So unfortunately, we're not going to offer our services in the state any longer.
Gotcha. I just want to comment on this. King of all this. Go on. I understand they can't turn you down at the ER. I get that. So if you get shot, okay, you're going to be saved. But if you need long-term cancer treatment or long-term something for a disease, you could be fucked if you don't have insurance.
Right.
Or that's all I'm getting at. Like a memo came out that didn't really make it into the mainstream a lot, but when Luigi Greenberg shot that CEO in the back, they actually
Luigi Mangione.
Mangione. Did I say
Luigi
Greenberg?
Greenberg.
Fuck, I always
Yes,
do
you did.
that.
Luigi.
Dude.
Luigi Greenberg. Hold on now.
Sorry,
I
allegedly,
know
I knew
that
there was
guy.
something wrong with that guy.
Fucking, I knew I was gonna do that one of these days because the pineapple always runs a joke with that because he always makes fun of me for the Luigi Mangione thing. And so then every time like Luigi Greenberg, he used to do like a reference anyway, and I knew I was gonna fuck that up one of these days. Luigi Mangione, sorry. They United Healthcare started. Their decline rate actually went down, and some of the board members were getting upset. So they do. There's just way too much greedy profit on this shit. So I don't know. I don't know how you fix it, but I think it needs to be fixed somehow. But sorry, Luigi.
How much of that though are we getting the full story though? The media makes it sound as though, oh my gosh, the insurance companies were not going to make a profit. So it was a bunch of all these old stuffy, men with cigars going, oh my God, what? We're not making profits. Hold on. Any cancer treatments done. No more of that. Jesus Christ. We need to make these profits here, people. I don't think that happens, but that's what we are led to believe a lot of the times.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything like that. I think the way you become.
I was, of course, exaggerating, but that's
I know.
I
know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just think, and then I'll just drop it. I think the way you become CEO is of a company like that is if they know you're gonna bring in a certain amount of money every year. So that's how you make your decision. But did you freeze?
Well, you sort of legally have to, as a CEO.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't think it should be privatized. That's why there was a big debate on that because technically he's doing what he's legally supposed to be doing, which is what's best for all the investors and all that. So yeah, it is. Cupcake, if you're frozen, I will.
No, I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay, I thought you were frozen for a second. My bad. Okay, all right.
No.
I have a question, kind of related. Well, definitely related to the medical industry, and you being more libertarian, I'm actually interested in how you feel about this. So, pharmaceutical prices. Do you think the government should step in and do something about it? Because I'm sure, as you're aware, they use our money to pay for all these drug researchers to create these drugs, and then they charge us up the ass, like way more than they charge other countries. So I don't know if some people think we should nationalize big pharma, or anyway, without getting too specific, do you think the government should step in to do something about pharmaceutical prices from getting out of control so people aren't make decisions? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't feel the government should step in to anything. Basically, this is what I want my government to do: build my roads, protect me from criminals, kill my enemy. That's basically all government is supposed to do. And I think with pharmaceutical companies, again, with more competition, you will, if this one company, if you have to invest your own money into something, you are going to, you're going to make sure you get your dollar's worth. If it's just a government grant, here you go. No, try this. Here's more money for you. If free money is not going to create incentive. If you have to invest out of your own pocket, you're going to go, okay, we've got X amount of dollars. I do not want any bloat. I do not want any extra spending. Let's figure this out using being as economically responsible as possible. So I don't think the government needs to be involved in anything that has to do with as far as pharmaceuticals at all.
Interesting. So just so you know where I'm coming from, then my big thing is I always feel, obviously I don't trust government either, but the main reason I don't trust government is because they're accepting bribes from billionaires and corporations to do what's best for them. So I don't trust billionaires, corporations, hence big pharma either. Like, I think half the reason the government does the shit it does is because they're trying to help out the rich, and the rich fucking donors. So I don't think just leaving it up to nothing, it's not gonna. I don't know. It's never gonna change. It sucks because you got corporations, CEOs, they're fucking corrupt, and the politicians are corrupt. So we're fucked. But as a libertarian, I understand you don't like government touching anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the difference is I just trust the government highly, but I just trust like billionaires and CEOs even more, or maybe you just trust the government more than you just trust billionaires and CEOs, and that's pretty much the big difference. Is
For
I'm
sure.
seeing
That
in everything.
I would agree with that. I would agree with
All
that.
right. All right, fair enough. All right, shit. I just had my next question and I forgot what the fuck it was. I was
I'll
gonna.
go.
You go. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's my turn. A
Hey,
long time
dude,
ago.
I gave it to you. You threw it right back at me. What do you want to do? Oh,
Oh,
real
no,
quick
we go
before I
back and forth. But anyway, I'm just going to change tack here a little bit, and I'd like to know your stance on renewable energy and policies like the Green New Deal, and etc.
Well, I mean, if we're going to get into renewable energy and climate change, I obviously, being on right of spectrum, while I do believe climate change is a thing, I don't believe it is anthropogenic. I don't believe that man is causing climate change. Do CO2 levels rise? Yes. For example, the hockey stick graph, Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore, with the ice cores and the ice core data, that was proven false. We were told during that movie, we were told in 10 years, the seas are going to rise. That never happened. Is it that we had policies that were so good that we stopped it? No, it's a cyclical. It's cyclical. Now, renewable energy, I was absolutely against it. As far as windmills and solar panels, I have thus changed my opinion on solar only because my parents, who live in southern Texas, had a door-to-door solar panel guy come to their house, and my mom was like, Cupcake, I know you're in, so when he comes, is it okay if I call you? He said it was okay that you be on speaker, so I was like, all right. So I talked to the guy, and my parents, with solar power, they've got solar panels all over their roof, they got a backup battery. My parents haven't paid an electric bill, God, in 5 years. And on the flip side of that, they get money back for the electricity that they send to the electric company. So I am all for solar in areas where it's hot and sunny, desert areas. So I'm all for solar. Any other kind of renewable energy, it's not that renewable if there are times where you need an internal combustion engine to help the renewable part of that energy.
How do you feel about nuclear?
I am all for it. We haven't had a nuclear power plant built in the last 40, 50 years here in the United States. France is on nuclear with regulations. There was Chernobyl, there was 3 Mile Island, but we don't look at the pluses. We don't look at the success stories. Nuclear energy is clean. It's basically just steam. You take the plutonium cores, put them in water, it gets hot, the steam, that's it. Nuclear energy is clean. I'm all for it. We need to build modern nuclear energy plants. Yes.
So if you were to become president, you would definitely try to put forth some sort of bill to reestablish the nuclear energy.
Absolutely. 100%.
That'd be great. I'm a big nuclear guy, by the way, and I'm the same way. No windmills. Windmills are good for milling wheat.
Right.
Solar panels are great on a individual building. We had a Walmart out where I used to live that the parking lot was actually covered in solar panels. The Walmart was powered by solar, and
That's
they used
genius.
solar panels over the parking lot, so every parking spot was covered, and they ran completely on solar. That's a
genius.
Fantastic thing. I think every business needs to do something like that. Every house should have solar on it. But solar farms and solar power plants are no good.
Yeah.
They don't. It doesn't scale. But yeah,
there's no way to store that energy.
Right.
There's no way. There's no way to store it. There's no way to really to move that energy to where it's needed to be used.
What else? Go ahead, Nick.
All right. First, I just Deadpool. I owe you an apology from yesterday. Just we'll take a quick stop right here. During they did a show, Rochi and Eckel, on the Joey C interview, so I was invited on, and I thought so. I had called a member of the House of Representatives. I said Congress, and I was trying to. Oh, you were there, Cupcake. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to. I was trying to explain that I'm talking to a Brit, so I figured they would know a congressman from a senator. But I did go back and I did misspeak, and I did say Congress and the Senate instead of House of Representatives and the Senate. So I didn't even realize I did that. So you were right, Deadpool, and thank you for all your lovely donations, putting me in my place for the rest of the episode. You, even though I knew you were friendly trolling me, I still took the bait. So thank you. But you were correct. And someone else came in, just reminded me after this interview, if anyone wants to stick around, we are gonna, just for shits and giggles, since we are a Dabbleverse political show, we are gonna talk about the Stuttering John lawsuit for a few minutes with I think Cupcake's gonna stay back to join us.
I'll stick around for that.
Should be fun. Now, Liquid, I watched your video after you did a great job. Check out Liquid's page is in the description. He did like an hour and change on it today. He went through the whole document. It was pretty good. Most of the document. Tried skipping the repetitive shit, but
I skipped the beginning with
the beginning.
Yeah. This is why we're doing the lawsuit, this, that, and the other thing, and I went right to the was it the applicable facts or whatever they called it, or that were start off with a huge lie. But anyway,
gotcha.
Continuing on.
All right, Cupcake. We will a couple of big stories for a while now have been the war in Gaza between Israel and Palestine, and then of course we got Russia and Ukraine. I guess we'll start with Gaza. If you become president, do you have any plans? Actually, let me just ask you the first question. If you become president, would you stop funding to Israel, or would you continue funding Israel?
I would stop all kinds of funding. I want the United States to be like we were before World War I, where we are the United States by ourselves. We have enough natural resources in this country to sustain ourselves by ourselves. We don't need to send money all over the world to everybody who asks for it, because we get nothing. We get nothing for our investment. We get nothing back.
So
what do we get?
Exactly. Would that be for Ukraine too as well?
Everything. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah. No.
Yeah. Liquid and I have had these talks, and we actually agreed with each other that I think we're both okay with sending some sort of aid, like food and stuff like that, medical, but we all done with just flat out funding, go buy all these weapons and blah 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 blah. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's not our business. And those people have been fighting for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. No amount of American dollars is going to stop them. No amount, with all due respect, Nick, no amount of pinko lefty liberal kids going there and trying to spread love and then getting beheaded once they get captured is going to stop them fighting. I'm sick of it. I don't want any of it. This for lack of a better term again, isolation. Yes, let's do it. We have enough resources to sustain ourselves for many, 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 many years.
No, I actually agree. And even like Ukraine, yeah, I think if there's no good guys, but I think there are less of the bad guys in this, but enough's enough. They're not winning this war. What the fuck are we doing throwing all our money at them? And
right.
As you said, it's not whatever. It's not our part of, I get kind of why it's happening, but we stick our nose in way too much fucking business that doesn't fucking belong to us. And I don't understand why Israel is our fucking daddy, that no matter who's president, Democrat or Republican, they just fucking, whoever's in the Senate, whoever's in the House of Representatives, they just, I don't know, they just bend the knee to Israel. And I'm not anti-Semitic by any means, not even close, but I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. just sending all this fucking money and letting them do whatever the fuck they want. So
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Like just recently, what was it a couple weeks ago where President Trump said they've been fighting for a long time and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like,
right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Israel fucked us on that. Israel fucked us. That bothered me. That bothered me that they were, that they like, who are you? We're trying to help you, and then you come and just attack, and I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done. Bring our boys back. No more money for anybody.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that. Yeah, I think even when we cover that, me, who's obviously, some people new to the show, maybe Terry Nee and stuff, I saw him put up like most CEOs are Democrats. Like, dude, I hate the Democrat. I hate both parties. I get less. People joke and call me like a communist, Marx, whatever. I have no problem with that. I laugh it off. I actually get mad when someone like calls me a Democrat. It pisses me off. So, no, fuck them. They're the same to me. They fucking work for the same warlords. They work for the same billionaires. So,
right.
So fuck them. So yeah. But the one moment where I really like Trump for a minute, like I think that moment where he goes, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That seemed real to me because Trump always seems like he's putting on this fake fucking thing, and it seemed like he was actually pissed off. It was so nice to fucking see. 100%. Yeah.
It was.
All right. And now I'd like to actually pull this back around to immigration and maybe finish up with that. I just want to make sure we got all our other questions out of the way because it seems like immigration is your main focus. So I'd like to really pick your brains on exactly what you think about things like the ICE raids in California, et cetera, and them going into like Home Depots and clearing them out. And that sort of thing.
Cupcake, sorry, before you answer, I gotta take myself off for a second. I forgot to take some medication. I'll be right back. Thank you guys.
Right. I can wait to answer if you want.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to take some pills. Hey, so far that's been a great interview.
Thank you.
Yeah, Cupcake, you can answer. I'm still gonna have my headphones in. So.
Okay, right on.
Okay.
The ICE raids. It has come to a point where, and this is going to sound it's going to sound harsh, it's going to sound harsh, but it's come to a point where illegals have become arrogant. They have, and if the ICE raids are specifically targeting criminals other than committing the crime of coming here illegally, I'm for it. Get out. We don't need you here. And them targeting, Home Depots. Yeah, I'm sorry, but the day laborers that are standing outside the Home Depots, and I see them all over when I'm driving all over the country in my truck, because, if there's no truck stops close, you can stop at a Home Depot and chill there. But yeah, I'm going to say 100% of those day laborers are probably all illegal. So is it easy pickings for ICE so that they can, put numbers on the board as a score? Yeah. Are they doing their job? Yeah. Is that, does it look bad? Absolutely. Definitely 100% bad optics. Are they doing their job to get illegal immigrants out of this country? And are they getting, there are illegal immigrants who are arrested for crimes, and once they're arrested and it's determined that yes, this person is illegal, the jails are supposed to hold them until ICE comes and says, okay, this person committed a crime, now they're in your hands. I've had friends when I was married that had gotten arrested for DUIs, and we would get a phone call. Police let me go. As long as you went to go pick them up before ICE got there, then they got out. And I have picked up many a friend from, the police department. Hurry up, ICE is on their way. All right, dude, I'm there. I'm going. So they're doing their job. Is it bad optics? Yes.
How
That's
do
the
you
long and short
feel
of it.
about how do you feel, or what do you think could be done for governors of states who have decided to actually defend and harbor the illegals within their state? I'm speaking specifically. I don't know how much you keep up on this, but Gavin Newsom really seems to be very upset that he's losing voter base and workers and House seats in California. So he's fighting as hard as he can to protect all the illegals in California. Like, as a
Right.
president, what do you think you could do to dissuade governors from acting in that manner?
Well, that is one of the main reasons for when you on Hispanic television on Univision and Telemundo, you have commercials during the census time. Make sure you count every person in your household. Make sure when the census person comes or you get the census paperwork, you mark every single person in your household. Why do they do that? So that those specific areas can get more seats. Illinois, Governor Pritzker, he's the same way. If you are caught harboring illegals this way, you need to be the full extent of the law needs to be extended towards you, and at least have a talk. Say, while yes, states' rights, but over states' rights is the federal government. So if you're doing something as illegal as harboring a criminal, then yeah, the law needs to come down on you.
So how would that work against, say, a governor?
You kind of got me here because I don't really know as far as a process to what would happen to that governor. You would have to look and see what kind of policies that governor has enacted as far as laws that were passed at a state level that are protecting and harboring illegals. Like, for example, if if your governor signs into law something like like I just said, that's specifically targeted towards protecting non-citizens who came to this country illegally, then yeah, that needs to be investigated. That needs to be federally investigated.
Yeah, in California, it is literally illegal for the police to aid ICE in any way.
Yeah, that's
like, even if the police wanted to help ICE in any of their stuff, it is illegal for them to do so.
Yeah, it's laws like that need to be investigated. Why would you pass a law like this? Who wrote this law? What what is the deal here?
Well, it's obviously they're
they're trying to gain
work base and their voter base and their representation, for more house seats, which equates into more votes for the president.
Well, more congressmen. You can get if you with redistricting.
Yeah, more house seats.
Yeah.
Any follow up for the another thing? Oh, there's been a lot of controversy with the ICE agents covering their faces and whatnot, and basically just running into places. How do you feel about that?
I'm all for it. Because if they're going to be targeted and doxxed, yeah, I don't want that agent's face. I don't want someone being able to take a picture of that agent's face and then for some reason you see him at the store and then he gets attacked. Yeah, I'm all for it.
All right, so I take it that your immigration policies are basically pretty much in line with Trump's.
For the most part, I do. I do support a work visa program, like I said, for labor jobs. If like I don't want to say like a lottery, but look, we've got we need 500 workers. We have 5-year work visas, and we need 500 people. If you meet these requirements, you can obtain this visa. And if you're a good boy or girl in those 5 years, we will give you an easier path to become a citizen of the United States if you want to. But you need to keep your nose clean. You know, if you get caught jaywalking, we're sending you back. You know, that's how I feel about something like that. You know, it's a privilege to come here. And that was instilled to me by my father. You know, this country is, you know, it's the youngest country. You know, next year we're going to be celebrating 250 years of being a country. And we went from, you know, 13 colonies to throwing tea in a harbor to the world power in only 250 years.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about American ingenuity. You know, there's something to be said about a country that can do that.
And
so, you know,
point out, I'm sorry. I just want to quickly point out for your own information, what you're talking about is called an H-2B visa for non-agricultural workers.
Okay.
It's renewable up to 3 years. And then there's an H-2A visa for temporary agricultural workers. Also,
oh, wow. Okay.
Up to 3 years. Yeah. So those work visas are actually available.
How easy are those to get? Like what? Like I mean, I'll have to look at that myself.
It's the same thing with the H-1B visas. Basically, you got to be sponsored. You got to have a company's got to bring you in. You got to have a letter. You have to have employment. You can't come here to get employment. You know, you have to already have the employment and then come in. So we do have temporary labor visas for people who want to come in and do it the right way.
Well, then
I just for your information, I wasn't going to say anything about it earlier.
No. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I was unaware of those kind of visas. So thank you for informing me of that. We probably need to put more funding into those visas and, you know, see what we can do about, you know, expanding that process, expanding those.
Oh, absolutely. We even offer, you know, the migrant farm workers and laborers, you know, especially ones that have been, you know, here illegally, but just working, you know, doing these day labor jobs and stuff like that, and saying, hey, if you go get this visa, you could be here, and that could be offered as like a path to citizenship. I believe something like that would be fantastic, which I think is exactly what you were saying.
And if you are here illegally, though, you there would need to be some penalty. You know, there would need to be some kind of, you know, some kind of spanking, if you will. You know,
and honestly, this is a sentiment that I've lived in the southwest of the country for most of my life.
Oh, okay.
I'm no longer there, but I live there, so I've been around a lot of you know, first and second generation legal immigrants from Mexico and South America, and a lot of your sentiment is the same things that I hear a lot of other naturalized citizens and first generation people, where we need to get the illegals out. I mean, nobody hates an illegal Mexican more than a legal Mexican.
Right.
With a burning passion that would make even the most racist person blush.
Right. Right, because they went through the process. You know, they spent the money. They went through this whole process, and it's unfair that dude over there, you know,
just here legally and welcomed now, you know, with the sanctuary states and those sorts of laws and whatnot.
Yeah, correct.
So, and the governor thing was a sort of a trick question. I don't think there's anything the president can do for against a state's right to be able to do something like that. But then the state just doesn't necessarily need to comply with the federal government either. But they can't hinder them.
Yeah, if you're actively working against the federal government, though, there has to be, you know, that's not right. To quote
it's also a bit of a states' rights conundrum, right?
Right.
As president, it would be walking into dictator territory, trying to govern states like that, I believe.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. I will concede that. I may have to take that back.
Not that I disagree with you at all.
Right on. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But you know, you got to temper you got to temper your emotions with reality.
Right. That was my Joey C hitting the button moment. So
yeah, you're just gonna hit the button on
Right.
illegals.
Yeah, we were talking about immigration when he said that too. We weren't even talking about like foreign countries, so that's what like
right.
totally caught me off guard when he said
Yeah,
that.
so what do you think about climate change?
Um.
No, you already said this.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna say. Yeah. I was like, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah,
the
he's
time change question.
spoofing the time when Joey started
the
talking
time
about daylight
change.
savings time. Yeah.
Actually, let's talk about that. Should we get rid of daylight savings time? I mean, if you're a president and you had the ability to get something passed through, should we just eliminate daylight savings time altogether? Because there's already several states that I lived in Arizona. They didn't change their clocks. It's fantastic.
Yeah, they don't do that in Indiana either. I don't know. Honestly, it's ever since I was a kid, I looked forward to spring, spring head fall back, because it was, to me, it was just fun to control time for that day. So I mean, it was, it's just a little fun thing. Is it doing today what it was set to do all those years ago when it was implemented? I don't know. That's something that you'd have to research. Is it still doing the good that it did when it was first implemented? If not, then we may need to look at a reason to change it.
Fair enough.
And yeah, that's all I got. Anything
all right.
else, Nick, or do we want to start wrapping this?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up in a sec. I'll just comment briefly on from when I stepped away with the ice. I will obviously, I knew we weren't going to agree on ice. I'm actually I'm more on the radical side of that. I think I fucking don't even think ice should exist, since it didn't exist before W. So just fucking get rid of these guys. But I do think they need to identify themselves. I don't like how they're not like. I don't know what's to stop, and I'm sure it's been done, but what's to stop people from pretending to be ICE agents? Like, they're in unmarked vehicles, not showing any ID, wearing a mask, and showing no identification, just almost like kidnapping people. That's, I don't know. For someone that's like anti-government, that one actually surprised me a little bit with you, because that's almost like a Gestapo type thing, just rounding up people with like accountable to nobody, not accountable to the same rules and regulations that other law enforcement, or I don't know, even FBI, all that intelligence agencies have to do. So I find that interesting.
Yeah, but in today's age, especially with all, they're being targeted. I mean, in Los Angeles just recently, there were, I just don't, they're not doing an easy job, and it's.
All right. Yeah,
it's a sticky wicket. It's a sticky wicket, but I don't think any amount of talk is going to get either of us to.
No, that's why. Yeah, I just was gonna it was just gonna be a comment, because I know like I said, I assumed you were pro ICE and all that. One part I was interested in was the identify them and hiding their identity, because I didn't know where you were gonna stand on that part particularly. So, because the libertarian in you might be like, all right, that's a little government overreach. Just
I mean, they would need to identify themselves. I mean, they would need some type of badge, some type of insignia, something to identify them as ICE agents. But as far as covering their face, I'm okay with that.
All right, yeah. Not going to win that one, so we'll end it there. Let me ask you one question, actually. Then we can end it. It's just one of the questions I asked Joey. It's being more conservative, you might lean one way, but being a libertarian, you might lean another. So where does American Cupcake stand on a woman's right to choose abortion?
I'm very glad you asked this question. I have a very nuanced view on this. Is abortion killing a baby? 100%. Is it killing a life? 100%. Is it my business to stop a woman from doing something that I disagree with? No. If a woman wants to get 50 abortions, get 50. You know, it's, and in the most harshest way that I can say this, a woman who would even consider killing a life that's in her probably is not going to make the best mother anyway, so she probably shouldn't be having that kid.
That's basically my position. Any mother who's going to kill their child probably shouldn't be a mother.
Yeah, you know, that's so it's not my business to stop you from making what I feel is a bad decision. But it is 100% killing a life.
That was always a weird one for me as a more of a lefty, because it's an issue I had no passion for it. Like, because even if I take the more, I'm more, not exactly the way you feel, but close to the way you feel. But I'm not going to be like, yay, abortion. Like, so it's a weird thing to like fight for, to protest for. I get,
Right.
obviously I'm not a woman, so it's very easy for me to say. I'll just put that out there. But yeah, it's not something I protested a lot in my life. That's something I've never protested for.
Right.
But I have a very similar stance, but yeah.
Yeah. If stopping a woman from making a poor decision on as far as the birth of a child, if it were my responsibility, I would stop her from getting nuts busted all over her guts in the first place. It's like, take some responsibility. Condoms are cheap. There's ways to not get pregnant.
Right. And I think when we start getting strict on abortion, that what gets tricky is when you have a situation where, okay, they're having complications. Now the mother's life might be in danger, and certain hospitals are afraid to do something about it now, depending what state they're in and everything. So
right. So, okay. So now can we talk about the other 99.5% of abortions?
No, I'm not saying.
Right.
Right. I'm not saying that's the majority of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
No. I'm just trying to make a. I was trying to.
Right. I got you.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. If if that baby inside of them is causing that woman to die, then yes, but if it's just, here's the problem. Here's the problem. A lot more, people nowadays, as far as with the abortion thing, it's more of a fuck, I'm pregnant, instead of a, oh my God, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
That's, that.
Yeah, even I'm in my mid 40s and late 40s now, I guess. But keep forgetting I'm on the other side of 45 now. But yeah, we had 3 kids. We had 2 when we were very young, and then a third one when we were in our 30s. So it was like we never even had, when planning out having a kid at 28, like, did not happen. It was very early 20s, then into our 30s or whatever. But we were happy every time. Don't get me wrong. Third one was a surprise, but I couldn't love him anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
it's exactly. That's why I said before, like, a person who would even consider it, you shouldn't be a mother. I'm sorry. As harsh as that sounds, you should not be a mother if that's a consideration you're going to take when you find out you're pregnant.
Yeah, no, I could agree to that. Like, I think I'm a little different than you, but very close enough. So yeah. So Liquid, if you got no more questions, I think that'll wrap up the presidential part.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cupcake, real quick, just in case we may have missed it. Do you have a speech prepared for your candidacy?
I think I think I went through it in the first part of this interview, but I am the son of an immigrant. I was married to an immigrant. I was the American dream was instilled in me since I was a boy, a small child, an infant, and that's it was instilled for me by my father that the United States is the greatest country in the world, in the whole world. This is the greatest country. Again, my dad came from, being a medic in in his homeland, in his home country, came to the United States, became a citizen, started from the bottom, ended up as a biology professor, and now he's a retired biology professor. So it is possible. Is it easy? Not at all. Not at all. Were there a lot of sleepless nights with my dad? Yeah. My dad, he drove a limo for a long time. That's how he caught me smoking. He came home. I was like 15, 16, and I would only smoke in the car. He came home one night about 1 o'clock after driving the limo. And, I'll tell another story too about wine and cheese, but my dad would, he would have his wine and bread, cause that's European. And then he did this. Totally caught me off guard. He got his cheese, his bread, and he goes, "Hey, have you got a cigarette?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're in my car." He was just so smooth about it. And he goes, "Okay, 3 rules. Not in front of your brother, not in front of your mother, and go give me one."
I'll never forget. Sorry, it's your speech. You have cupcakes.
Yeah, no. And to top that off, my dad, as far as with Santa Claus, the first time when I was old enough to leave out milk and cookies, he was what? Because in Spain they do the 3 kings, and you leave hay outside your door for their camels. So he understood the concept, but he's like, milk and cookies, like the milk's going to be warm, the cookies are going to be. He's like, no, we're not leaving Santa. He was being a dad, because he's we're not leaving Santa. We're not leaving Santa milk and cookies. So my dad left him a cigarette, wine, and bread and cheese. And that's what we left Santa for, until that was what we left Santa.
Because that's what Santa really wanted.
Yeah,
right.
The guy that bought the present.
Wine, bread, and cheese.
I was just gonna say your story reminded me of my dad when my dad used to have. I accidentally found his Playboy / Hustler stash one day hidden in a closet when I was looking for something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took one magazine, and then I think a couple days later I took another. Like he had dozens in there. So then my dumbass, instead of just putting one back, swapping it, at one point I just had like probably 10, 12 magazines up there, something like that, in a backpack in my like top drawer or whatever. My parents never went in my room. Of course, my mother decides to put my laundry away for me that day. And I guess she came downstairs and she's like, "Nick's got he's got a heavy backpack in the top drawer." And my dad's like, "Go get it." No, I think my dad was thinking drugs or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever the fuck. And then, it's these magazines. Well, I got home from school that day with my friend and he's like, "Did you have a good day at school?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. I was like, "All right." So I go and says, "Oh, by the way, can you take this up with you?" And he just hands me the backpack with all the magazines in it. I'm like, so,
that's funny.
Had to fuck with me, but yeah. All right.
No,
so
that was good.
Looks like that was a great interview. Looks like I will put this up if you want to address it. Joey just got here. Says Cupcake's idea of leadership is shrugging at life and death issues and calling it freedom. That's not liberty. That's cowardice wrapped in a philosophy degree he never earned.
Well, I will address Joey when he doesn't use Uncle Bob. So when Joey can give me a response like I did today, without using any prepared statements, without using any kind of AI, then I will address Joey.
Just, you don't have to answer this, but it's a personal question. Do you have I don't know how to say this, Cupcake, because I'm not derogatory truck driving. I work with truck drivers all the time, but you seem very intelligent, like a college professor. Like, do you have a college degree and everything?
I do.
Did you go to college?
I went to college to be a history teacher.
History teacher. Awesome. Yeah.
That's
and why you know all this shit about fucking history. I should have known.
Yeah. Well, no, and then when I went to here's the thing in Illinois. You can get, as long as you have an associate's degree, you can take what's called a Type 29. And what a Type 29 is, it is a Spanish proficiency test. And if you take that test and you pass it, you have to be a Spanish teacher or a bilingual teacher for, X number of years. And in those years, you have time to get your degree in teaching without actually you can teach and be a teacher without having a teaching degree.
Mhm.
And I was, I was going to take that test, and I did not take it because my parents, who were teachers in Illinois, were telling me that the teaching business in Illinois, it's teaching in Illinois was not a good profession. They were tenured teachers, so they of course had pensions. For brand new teachers, it wasn't worth it to become a teacher in Illinois. That's the only reason that I did not become a teacher in Illinois. But yeah, no, I do have a degree. I'm sure I shocked 100, and I shocked everybody here with, I do know what I'm talking about. I am kind of intelligent, so.
I've seen you on other streams where I could tell, but yeah, I always assumed you had some kind of not knocking, but you seem more educated in history, government, geography than just say a high school graduate would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough. Final question will be real quick. It's something I wanted to ask Joey and I forgot. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll ask him next time he's on. I was going to ask Joey who his pick for VP would be. I'm not going to ask you name a specific person, but picking a vice president, would you pick someone with different views than you to try and cover more grounds, sort of say, or someone with very similar views as yourself?
I mean, I would have to pick someone with similar views, but it would, similar core views. But as far as, some of the, I'd have to, you'd kind of have to, because this is the person, if something were to happen to you, you were to die, this is the person that's going to take your position. So yeah, it would have to be someone with similar core values as yourself.
I actually appreciate that because, as I'm sure we all know here, VP is more like a strategic pick than someone that like in real life. Like I'm more corporate. Let me get someone more liberal, or Trump was more outside the box. So his first VP pick was let's get a, evangelical Christian. You know what I mean? So I can do well with them. And this time around, he's like, I already do well with the evangelicals now. So let me get a younger, hipper JD. It's always like a strategy. So
right.
They usually try and get core values the same, but whatever, this guy covers this demographic, or this woman does well with this demographic that I suck at. So all right, fair enough. Thank you very much for the interview, Cupcake. You did
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
You have Kahuna's vote. I think that's at least the third, fourth, fifth person.
Right.
We will now, for the final a few minutes, let's we'll get a little unwind. We'll talk about the Stuttering John, the big news that hit the Dabbleverse. I think Cupcake found out at the same time I did. We were in the same group chat when somebody that was in here earlier sent it to us. I don't know if they want to know who they are. I'm sure they don't care, but so I opened it. I'm like, holy shit! And the first thing I'm like, is this fucking real? I'm like, and then I sent it to a bunch of people, including Liquid, at probably like 2. We got it like 2:30 in the morning, I think. Cupcake, something like that.
Yeah.
I sent it out to a bunch of people, but yeah, it's fascinating. Do we think? So last I knew, I don't think they had been served. I think is what I heard. Carl and Chili had not been served. This has just been filed. If you read the time, it looked like it was filed like late Friday. So, what are the odds? Do we think this is going to go to court, or do you think this is just John trying to get something out of them with a settlement, or I don't know?
That's what it is.
Do you think
that's
so?
what it is. It's trying to get something out of it with a settlement. He doesn't have the money to sue anybody.
Right.
No, it's definitely a money grab. He's figured out that he can't make money without people insulting him. So he's just trying to get the money out of them. And actually, I think it might actually go to court when I was reading the documents, because some of the stuff like the let me see here. I got it up here. Like it's the New York. Hold on. It's the New York count one. Oh my God! It just went. New York defamation. No, the count 2. There we go. Yeah, it's a violation of New York's civil rights law, section 50 and 51. where I looked it up and I kind of did a bit of research on my show, where some of the things that Carl and Shuli have been doing with John could probably be enough that the case will be heard. Now, I don't think it will be won, but on the first count of violation of that civil rights law in New York, there is the possibility that I think that it will go to trial, and I certainly hope it does. And if it doesn't, or if any judge or lawyer or anything wants to, settle, kick it out, not do anything, I would hope that Carl and Shuli would instruct their lawyers to make sure that it goes to court. I really want this to go to court.
Yeah, it's
I really want to oppose John on 12 unsuspecting people. Well, 13,
Right.
15,
Right.
15 or so unsuspecting people of the court.
So he files it in New York, and if I read it correctly, I think, according to John, somehow he knows or thinks that the majority of people that paid for the pay-per-views were from New York. I can't even imagine that's true or how he would even know.
Right.
I'm sure there's a decent amount from New York because New York's very populated, but I'm guessing maybe because of that clause or whatever you just cited, Liquid. Or my other theory was maybe a certain midget Italian lawyer from New York was in his ear telling him you could blah, 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 blah. So file in New York. And, I don't know.
He's got a section in the in the complaint.
Vince says?
Yeah, there's a whole
I didn't even
section.
read.
Oh, wow.
Dude,
What if this is all?
Let me
Oh, go
find
ahead.
it.
I'm sorry.
I'll
No,
read it
sorry.
to you. It's fantastic. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves until I find it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I started reading it last night when I was one of my kids. This is bad parenting on my part. One of my kids is kind of into the Dabbleverse, so he was fascinated. So I'm starting to read it to him, and I'm like, I get to point 10, and I'm like, how many of there are these? And there's 150, whatever it was. I'm like, holy shit! It's
It's about them all.
30 something pages, 150 whatever numbered sections, complaints, whatever. And yeah, I gave up after all, so I didn't even come close to reading the whole thing when it just kept going on and on. So
here's the Vince section. It's great. It's it starts at 104.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far.
Yeah, on or about May 9th, 2025, an internet-based legal commentary program called Lazy Law News featured a segment discussing plaintiff Melendez's situation and his rights of publicity. And that broadcast, available on YouTube, legal analysts outlined how defendants' use of Melendez's voice and image without consent likely violates New York's publicity rights law. The Supreme Court recent decision in Andy Warhol Foundation versus Goldsmith 2023, a case dealing with fair use in the context of image appropriation, was analyzed, noting that the defendants might attempt to invoke fair use or First Amendment defenses for their actions, but that such defenses would be weak given the primarily commercial nature of defendants' use and the lack of any true transformative commentary. The public discussion underscored the defendants' conduct was not only well known but widely perceived as unlawful. Defendants were or should have been aware that their continued course of conduct was legally risky and breached New York state law, yet they persisted nonetheless.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
that
don't know.
Isn't
Go on,
that
Chris.
what he tried to sue Sirius over?
Yes.
Almost exactly the same thing?
Yes. And it's Vince. It's Vince fucking trolling John, trying to convince him that he has.
For sure it is.
Yeah.
For sure it's Vince trolling John.
Mr. Z, I didn't even write down any questions this time, so you're good. And I didn't.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't. I didn't demand that you give me that they give me topics.
No topics.
I did it. I did an actual interview like you're supposed to, unlike my opponent who relies on Uncle Bob to answer his questions and make statements for him.
I did, however, write down questions and send them to Cupcake. So no question. I did write down questions just to remind myself of to ask stuff.
Yeah, and that's fine if you wrote down your own questions. But no, I did not receive. I did not receive any questions in advance. I did not talk about any topics. I went into this cold and blind, like you're supposed to, Joey, when you do an interview. Get that out of the way.
Yeah, Mr. Z, I know he's he's one of my good-natured trolls, so I know he's trolling me, but
Yeah.
wanted to give him his
Yeah.
time.
So
Cupcake-
before we
Yeah.
end up here, I want to tell one more story about my dad to give you an
Yeah,
idea
absolutely.
of what kind of
Absolutely.
what kind of person my dad was. My dad was probably the funniest guy. He is one of the he's he's still alive. So when my dad, think of your typical little old European man with a thick accent. That's my dad, okay? And my dad's about 5'3", a little bit taller than Danny DeVito, short guy. So he was was at school, and there was the basketball team was in his class, and one of the taller guys of the basketball team, African American guy, goes up to my dad and he goes, man, why are you so short? He's so short, looking down on him. And then my dad, he goes, why am I so short? It's because my balls are so big and heavy that they weigh me down and I never grow. And then he went to this kid. He goes, you know what? You're pretty tall.
Oh.
And then all his boys were like, oh!
Just absolutely ripped him.
Yeah. That was my dad.
Your dad's almost
that's-
like Shuli's dad. These immigrant dads
Yeah.
seem to have a good sense of humor. It seems.
Yeah.
Like.
They do. Every time Shuli says something about, what his dad said, my dad would probably say the exact same thing.
I was gonna say earlier, something you said kind of when we were talking about how proud immigrants are of this country or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the guys I work with, he's an immigrant from Dominican Republic, and one day I wore a shirt. It was I forget what it says on it. Obviously, I have a lot of protest like shirts. It was an upside down flag, but it was something about fixing our country. Like it wasn't anti-American. It was like this country's under distress because of all this corruption and blah blah blah. So he didn't read it. He just saw the upside down flag, and he was like, and I'm good friends with this guy, and he's like, "Oh, Nick, I can't believe you would." Like he thought I was putting down America, and he's the one that's wasn't even born here. So
Right.
that's just like how proud he was. Like just to say,
Yeah.
I take it almost more patriotic than other people do. But I was like, no, man. If you read it, it's just the shit going on in this country like needs to be fixed. That's all. I'm not against the country by any means, but yeah, he just saw the upside down flag and just thought he was like almost bothered by it. So it was kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Living in Texas, my dad, he's got his cowboy hat. He's got, he loves Texas. He loves every bit of Texas.
Texas is great.
I almost said every time I talked about my dad, and he called me by my, my legal total government name. But he goes, Cupcake, I love living in Texas. I love it.
Yeah, I like living in Texas too. I did for several years. It's a fantastic state. Still too much desert. As I said, lived most of my life in the desert. I've moved way out east here, away from the desert.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've driven Miami to Los Angeles, and then you spend one whole day driving through Texas.
Man, yeah, I took it easy. I did 2 days there and back.
Yeah.
The three times I've been through Texas in the last 2 months. I always took 2 days because I didn't feel like driving that much.
I can't even imagine. I live in a state that's right next to Rhode Island. You can drive through that whole state in like a fucking hour and a half or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Where I am now, it takes 20 minutes for me to get to. I'm on the south side of town. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to the north side of town.
Right. When I was trying to get to the first time I went to all 50 states, I had Rhode Island and Maine to go to, and then I finally got a delivery to Maine. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna do it. And when I got there, it was just right across the state line. But dude, and Nick, I got to tell you, Boston and Maine are the most accenty accents of any state in the United States. The old lady, it was a Champagne sweatshirt store, Champagne, and it was a display. It was a big display. So I'm moving it in, and the lady goes, "Oh, you could just set it over there."
Dude, yeah, the Maine accent is very obviously people focus on the Boston accent, and even Rhode Island because of what's that show, Family Guy and shit like that. But Maine, I mean, just watch what's his face from the original the original Pet Cemetery. That fucking
Yeah.
guy, like that guy nailed it. I can't think of his
Yeah.
name. That old
Aya.
actor, but
Aya.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Like it's crazy. Yeah, we used to go up there every summer, and it's like, oh geez, here we go. Joey just oh, that wasn't the one I wanted to put up. Sorry, I didn't even read that one. Did I lose it? Oh, yeah, Joey, we're just having a little fun, brother. We're people that want to take a shot, do the similar interview to what you did, like they're running for president, until you come on again. That's all. Like Cupcake knows he's not your actual opponent. We're just
Yeah.
having a little fun with it, buddy. It's and it's keeping your name out there. It's keeping your presidency out there. And just to be completely honest, Liquid and I, with the political landscape, is not. I mean, the stuff to talk about. It's been Epstein, which we have beaten to death on this show, and now there's gerrymandering, which we both fucking hate. So we're like, okay, this sucks. There's not much you can make a fucking hour and a half, 2-hour show out of it. So until things pick up a little more, I think this is just a little fun way to do it. Then get to see how other people feel in the Dabbleverse when it comes to politics, and just give their own opinion. So.
And also, I didn't realize. Well, I mean, I guess I should have realized having the only political show in the Dabbleverse. It is nice, probably even. I mean, for someone like you, Cupcake, to have a show where you can start talking about politics and nobody's going to be in the chat going, politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No politics. No, sometimes it's interesting. The political process is interesting.
It is.
Yeah, I learned, like, just from when I used to watch Uncle Rico all the time, or other shows, like people would just randomly throw in Trump 2020 or political stuff. So obviously there's a lot of political, I don't know, it's not excitement, but people are in the politics in the Dabbleverse. And yes, I know I am greatly outnumbered, but what can I do? But it's still, I like talking to people with different opinions than me. It's boring as fuck. I don't know how Stuttering John did it, talking to Richard Ojeda and fucking what's his face every fucking week, where they just Brian Karam, they just agreed with each other, and it was whatever, insulting anyone that disagreed. Like John thought he called those three guys called me a Trumpaloon for like a year. That's all Liquid and I met, because because during the show Biden was president, so I would like criticize things Biden was doing, often from the left, but they weren't picking up on that. You know what I mean? They were just you're a Trumpaloon, you're this or that. And Liquid would always like send me a laughing smiley face, because I'm like, he knew I was the opposite. I was like, all right, dude, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, every time John would call Nick a Trumper or a Trumpaloon or whatever, I'd send a laugh. I'd tag him in a post and on X. The laugh, laughing at him is. I was just like, he's like the least Trumpian person probably in the Dabbleverse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Other than, of course, Ojeda and them. Anyway, if you'd like, there's an excerpt that I would like to read from this legal document from from John. It is the first couple of points under factual allegations. You guys are going to love this. Okay, it starts with plaintiff John Melendez is a well-known figure in comedy and broadcasting with a distinctive voice and persona that he has cultivated over decades of drinking. By virtue of his public career, Melendez's name and likeness carry significant fame and goodwill among audiences.
Dude,
you have any comments on that? This is an illegal document, by the way.
Who wrote that?
His lawyer.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's why.
Indistinguishable last spelling of his last name. He spelled it wrong twice, or he spelled it in the very beginning where he signs it. He spelled it wrong where it's signed, but where underneath it where it says who it is, it's spelled correctly.
So he got a top
indeterminate last name, but it gets better.
Yeah,
but it gets better.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
Defendants are not as well-known commentators and content producers operating in the same realm of entertainment, and have frequently targeted Melendez as a subject of discussion on their own shows. They're not famous. They never did nothing. Literally, the first 3 points is, I'm famous and they're not.
Yeah,
So can you bring up Joey's chat? Because apparently Joey does want to debate me. He's just doing it through chat. Joey, I'm putting this offer out there right now. I will debate you in any way you want, anytime you want. I just have one condition. No AI, no Uncle Bob, no notes, no nothing. Do it exactly like I did it right here, right now. Cold,
And I think,
no notes.
and I think we'd be happy to host that as a neutral ground.
All right.
If Joey, if you want to talk to Cupcake, maybe talk to Nick or me or somebody. We'll
Yeah.
we'll set
If
something
you
up.
guys can facilitate it, I'm down. I'm 100% in. You know, if with this chat right here about the climate change, you know, I'm in, Joey, 100%. But zero AI, zero
You know,
notes.
We'd be fair, Joey. If you want, we even give you a few weeks, couple weeks, just if you want to hone
Study
in
up on it.
some stuff.
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah, nothing pre-prepared, no topics given. You know, just going in cold. I'm in.
So what
Oh,
is
Misfit.
Krishan saying?
Yeah, he was just asking me about my. By the way, if anyone, Krishan, Misfit Nation, he does a show with his co-host. They are MAGA gentlemen, and it's very interesting. He's fun. He's fun to talk with. Obviously, I disagree with him a lot, but we have good talks and good debates and shit. But yeah, I don't know. Labeling is always tough. I think, I guess, yeah, progressive. I always say like economic populist, but I mean, I wouldn't go
Mhm.
full blown socialist by any means, but I do think certain things should be socialized, like medicine and stuff like that. Which but I don't think I still believe in private business and everything. I more want to
Yeah.
get rid of all the corruption going on with. I don't know how we do it. It's fucking in depth and ingraded into the fucking government now. But yeah, just all the bribery and how they do, like, for example, and then I'll wrap this up, sorry, like when it comes to something, like, everyone thinks, not everyone, but there's woke companies. When companies go woke, these corporations are not woke. They just think, if I put BLM stuff in my store, if I put rainbow stuff in my store, I'll make more money. Then the second that backfires, they took it out. They just want to make money, and they
Look at
bribe the
Jaguar.
government. Yeah.
Look at what happened to Jaguar.
Right.
They lost like 97. Didn't they go down like 97% in sales because of that stupid ad? And look at American Eagle. Wow, you got a hot blonde selling jeans again, and their numbers are skyrocketing. Who would have
they
thought?
by a lot.
Do you think that this is real quick question? I always wonder, like, how organic that shit is, because, like, as someone on the left, like, I keep seeing people posting these ads on, not everyone, but the really radical, like cat turd, like those type people. They'll be like, oh, sharing the American Eagle ad, being like, just to piss off a leftist. I'm like, do you think I have a problem looking at seeing Miss Sweeney in some fucking tight jeans? Like, show me more. I don't give a fuck. I think it's
Right.
a tiny group of people that have an issue, and then it gets blown up. Or is this a strategy by American Eagle to get more attention? Like, are they behind it too? I don't know.
Well, it's obviously a strategy by American Eagle to get more attention. They want to sell
Yeah.
jeans.
Yeah,
And it
funny.
worked.
Yeah, it's absolutely. But, like, I think people on the left and the right, they get caught up, and it's like, that shit's not really real. There's not really, sure. There are a few loons probably on the left that think somehow that commercial was some whatever the fuck they thought it was, Hitler shit. I have no fucking idea. Just because she's white with fucking blonde hair, I have no fucking idea. And they made a jeans reference, but yeah, it's stupid. I don't know who the fuck even thinks that. So that's why sometimes I wonder, like, is this almost like guerrilla marketing, where they're putting, not guerrilla marketing, but is this almost like they're putting this out there, like there's some kind of negative feedback against them to fire up people because they see how ridiculous it is, or if
Yeah.
just the smallest number of people somehow get a big voice somehow. I can't figure it out, but
Yeah. I mean, it's, it's just common sense. Like, if something's pleasing to the eye, you're going to be, it's,
yeah, I don't.
And then
they tried showing something with, like, Beyonce in jeans. I'm like, yeah, people find Beyonce attractive, and they're gonna like that too. Who fucking cares? I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
and then we fight over that shit, and then that's how they get away with everything. That's another
Yeah.
little strategy with government and
Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know, look at this here. Look at this here. Look what I'm doing as I'm sticking you with the knife down here. You know, it's,
Right. No, Krishan, I totally got the wordplay with the jeans. I get that. It's just whatever. Who the fuck cares? It's
But I'd also
how
like to
many
say that
hot, attractive blondes have we seen in jean ads? A fucking million. So why all of a
it used
sudden?
to be a lot more common.
Yeah.
But I would like to say that Krishan did ask that same question of me and Cupcake as well. What our
Oh, did he?
politics are.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it is a later post.
Nick, can you put up Joey's last
Oh, sure.
chat there if you don't mind?
He says the only way he'll debate me is if I can't use Uncle Bob because he knows without my handicap he doesn't stand a chance. Fake candidate, fraud, history major, soon to be history.
When you can write a statement that you wrote without the use of Uncle Bob, Joey, I'll respond. I'm challenging you to a debate. Don't be scared, since you don't get to use your binky Uncle Bob. And that's
And
my
also,
statement.
Joey, it's the more debates you do and the more people you talk to, the better you're going to get at it. And I think somebody in the chat, pointed that out to you. But yeah, you should be taking every opportunity you can to talk to people. Honestly,
Absolutely. Would you guys like to answer Krishan's question? How you would label your political beliefs or your stance?
I am right of center on a lot of issues. Yay capitalism. But again, I want my government to do, like I said, those basic things: build my roads, protect me from criminals, kill my enemy. That's basically all I need you to do.
yeah, my politics are basically the same, right of center. I definitely wouldn't call myself a Republican. I actually left the Republican Party right about shortly after the Patriot Act got passed. And I said, oh, fuck those guys too.
Yeah.
And I was a registered independent for a while, then decided, as I said earlier, libertarian, because they have the best chance at getting a third-party seat at the table with the current rules and things. So, but I consider myself a conservative, especially fiscally.
Yeah.
And actually socially fairly liberal. Like, as I said, we were talking about the abortion issue. I'm, for abortions, or not for abortions, but I think that any woman who decides to kill their baby probably shouldn't be a mother.
Yes, I agree with that.
That sort of thing. But I also don't think that it should be used as a contraception, which a lot of which is what it's mostly used for.
Correct.
And
Joey's other chat
stuff, I love Doge. They need to clean out more of the government. I just wish that they would have hit the maybe they're taking their time, but they do need to hit the military. They do need to get in there and clean that shit out. Yeah. But Trump isn't helping with the fucking big beautiful bill. They gave him a bunch more money.
Right. Well, I mean, we have to look at discretionary spending and mandatory spending with that. If you look at mandatory spending, yes, a majority of that goes to military, but discretionary spending, the military is nearly insignificant. It's like 25% of discretionary spending. So they can play with the numbers on those diagrams, and they can play with what kind of spending it is, but that's why, oh my gosh, it's 50% of our budget goes to military. It goes to the 50% of the mandatory, that goes to the discretionary spending, hardly, which is, gets the whole picture. It's really only about 25%.
Well, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
And I say, fuck Doge. I trust Elon about as far as I can throw his ketamine fucking fucked up ass. But yeah, I don't trust Liquid knows. I beat this into the ground. It's not even just Elon. I don't trust any of these billionaires. They're telling me they're cutting shit. I don't fucking trust them. I don't know what they really did, but I'm all for cutting waste. I just don't trust the people that were doing it. I
Well,
wouldn't
who would
trust
you
any
trust?
billionaire lead. That's
Who
very
would you
hard,
trust?
dude. I don't know. There's not too many. It's a good question. Jesus. Yeah, I honestly can't even think of anyone offhand. Like anyone in the government or in the corporate world, I can't even really think of anybody. Yeah, the politician I trust most is Bernie, and he probably wouldn't cut shit. He'd probably add to the spending. So I don't know what I would do there. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
one of my big problems with Bernie is he used to say the millionaires and the billionaires. We got to
now it's
stop
just
the millionaires,
Yeah.
the millionaires and the billionaires. Now that he has become a millionaire, it's we have to stop the billionaires. Like,
Yeah, no,
what happened there,
it's not.
Burns?
I totally get it. It's not a good. I appreciate he made his money. It's just barely a millionaire with, but it's still now you changed it. You used to say millionaires, and now you can't. So now you fucked you cornered yourself right there.
You did. You did.
We'll put
You know.
Joey up there. He's scared to debate me with Uncle Bob in my corner. Won't even respond. That's not a leader. That's a coward hiding behind a fake candidacy. Well, yeah, it's a fake candidacy. We know that.
Yeah, you're hiding behind an AI. I want to talk to the real Joey C. I don't want to talk to a Joey C filtered through an AI, through an artificial intelligence. I want to talk to a real person. So I'm not scared. I will debate you, but you cannot hide behind your AI. I'm not hiding behind an AI, Joey. What are you scared of?
Joey, I'll even say it's obviously you can use Bob and AI to study, to sharpen your ideas. No one's not saying that. I Cupcake, I believe, is saying like no notes, no AI live during the debate. If you want to use that for prep,
Correct.
100%, just not during the debate is what he's saying. So if you're interested, Joey, just obviously our DMs are open. You know
Yep.
how to find us, all of us. All right, I think we will.
I mean,
go on, Cupcake.
no, it was, hold on. Let me find these notes. Let me find these notes real quick. Hold on. I got it here. I wrote it down. That doesn't instill trust. That doesn't instill, that's a good leader. Someone who's got to find notes about no, I want to know what you're thinking. I don't want to know what you had to pre-prepare.
Well, I want to be fair to Joey C here. That was his very first interview, and he didn't know what to expect or what to do, really.
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah.
we were,
Mhm.
and it was our job or our desire to give him a platform in which he can be asked questions and get the practice he needs to in order to speak to people. So,
Mhm.
as I said, in all fairness, his next interview might be much better because he's now got a framework of what does and doesn't work, what he needs to do, and he has sort of a base point to work from, and I think he's only going to get better from here.
And Joey, if you even want to do more practice before, like another practice one or another one-on-one, one-on-two interview before the debate, you can do that too. But I think this would be good, because when you get into politics, you're gonna have to debate people, and it's gonna be often if you get on the stage, it's gonna be more than one person. You're gonna have like 8,
Mhm.
10 people on there. So yeah, it would be good practice. And we'll be fair. So it's just throwing it out there. All right, everyone. I want to thank our guest, American Cupcake. He did a great job. Appreciate him being here.
Thank you very much.
You did. We would. Sorry, Cupcake. Please plug your channel for everybody. I put it in the description, but just let them know where they can find you.
Thank you. It's Cupcake's Corner with American Cupcake, or you can just search in the YouTube search at American Cupcake. Do a show on Sunday called Belly Bros, and do a show during the week called Warp Speed. Belly Bros is, me, Lou, Kahuna, sometimes 2K. We do Joey C the second hour. We basically do a hodgepodge of stuff in the first hour. A lot of it has to do with body cam, police body cam, and sovereign citizens, but we do a bunch of different stuff. And the show during the week, Warp Speed, is me and Lou, where we have been talking about movies more or less, but it's basically we just talk about nerd stuff. We nerd out. We relax from the Dabbleverse and don't even mention it. just recently did a review on the new Superman movie. Next week we're doing a review on the new Fantastic Four movie. So and that seems to be a lot of fun. People seem to enjoy it. So we're going to keep doing it.
Awesome. Before I have Liquid do his plugs, I saw this. Joey, remind you did an interview with Alex Stein and Adam Bush without live AI. So
that's not altogether true. He
not
absolutely used
altogether
AI
true.
with the. He absolutely used
Bush.
AI with the Adam Bush
with Adam
interview.
Bush. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I didn't even see the.
Right. They
Alex
tried to
Stein.
cancel the truth, but the mic was still hot.
Yeah,
He still hasn't given an explanation about what that means.
We got a transformer or some shit up here in the corner. Liquid.
Yeah, I was like looking at some avatars for some nerd shit because I knew Cupcake. I watched some warp speeds and it obviously.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had that. Remember, I was the guy talking to you about Starship Troopers.
Oh, yes.
I was the guy feeding you all the information. I'm a big fan of the books.
Yes.
That
I was shocked to find out how much of an impact Robert A. Heinlein had on the science fiction world. He's part of the big three. Excuse me. He coined the phrase grok. He coined the phrase pay it forward. I mean, I can't believe it how influential he was to the science fiction community.
Yeah, warp drive was his invention.
Yes, that too, and powered armor. The jumpsuits in Starship Troopers. That was the first time that any kind of exoskeleton powered armor was in any type of fiction or science fiction.
Yeah, and that was a fun. So that's why I started watching Warp Speed. Well, I haven't watched a lot of it. I watched several. Nerds. Yeah,
I guess Warp Speed's not for you, King of all diffs. We're good.
King of all diffs. It's the first time we agreed all fucking night. Holy shit! We found common ground.
Philistines, all of you.
Right.
All right, Liquid. Plug you. Oh, Liquid. I saw your Cardiff. You put your comment up right at the beginning of the his show today. Did you see that? You told him what something in when Cardiff covered John's documents today. You told them what something meant in the document. You put your comment up. Anyway, that's all I was saying.
What does that even mean, Joey? What does that comment mean that you just made? Yeah, what does that mean?
They didn't just cut the mic, they tried to cut the truth. But I don't need a microphone to be heard because the truth has its own volume.
What does that even mean, Joey? Do you know? Or was it something Uncle Bob spit out? See, this is what I'm talking about with AI. Yes. Can you use it for research? Yes. Can you use it? You know what? Give me something really good to get back at Cupcake with. Yeah.
No, yeah,
that's beneath me.
Sorry.
That's beneath me.
Go ahead. Yeah, I remember with the comment now. It was the definition of that a Latin word on Cardiff's show. Yeah, because I woke up and hungover, and and I was thinking, man, I got to do a show on this document. I mean, even if it's not real or like whatever, I need to go do a show on it. And then I sit down and have my iced tea and have a cigarette and sit down, and Cardiff's on and he's going to talk about the thing, and I'm like, well, Cardiff beat me to it.
Yeah, compete with the potato. No. Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah, so I waited for about an hour after he was done, and I did mine where nobody watched, but that's okay. But anyway, my plugs, kick.com/liquid-cryptid. Go see, I got Stream Snipe Graffiti. It is a automated stream sniping, automated stream sniping by using a Chrome extension of my own design. I have a list of streams that I snipe, and what you could do is use the free AI voices there in order to make these shows more interesting and fun. There's also AI image generation and a new feature I just put in. You can take clips in real time. You can put in a command. It'll take a clip of the last 30 seconds, give you a link. You go to the link. You can upload it directly to your social medias, so you can actually clip live streams in real time as well.
Oh wow!
And awesome. Then I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming on my YouTube channel, which is liquid_cryptid.
I can look. It's in the description.
Yeah.
I put it all in there. I will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
liquid_cryptid. I'll be doing a lot more
All right.
streaming lately too. And don't forget Warp Speed with American Cupcake.
Thank you.
Cupcake's Corner with American Cupcake. Oh, and I also highly suggest Misfit Nation on Rumble.
Yeah.
Krishan, we were talking about them earlier. That was Krishan the Don, who was asked the questions about our political affiliations. And they do a great show. It's fantastic. It's wildly funny.
I still never get over. I've talked with Krishan multiple times on Jake Hudson's stream back in the day, and no one was on camera. And the way he talks, I'm picturing like a white Proud Boy type, and then I see a black man with dreadlocks in a MAGA hat, and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. He's a good show. He's a good dude. I don't agree with him, but yeah, he definitely goes against stereotype, which I am a fan of a lot of times. So
Okay, I'm just going to do this before we leave here.
Yeah.
Here is an explanation of they tried to cancel the truth, but the mic was still hot.
Oh.
Look at my hands. No AI. With all of everybody now that has access to a microphone and a camera, the media that tried to cancel, and just give one side of an issue, they can't cancel that anymore. There are too many hot mics that are available now for everyday people to talk and get get the other side out to the public.
very good, very good. Yeah, and that's
Was that hard, Tubby? Sorry.
It's okay. You guys, we're staying out of it. We want to host this thing. You guys do your thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys yell at each other.
No, yeah, absolutely. You can say all you want. He can say all he wants. Yeah. Nope. Oop. Sorry. No problem, Krishan. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oop, hot mic drop. Next week we should have somebody else. I think we have a couple people lined. Hopefully one of the two can make it, and I even have an emergency. I just don't want to tell them they're the emergency. But yeah, we do this every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have a second show that's kind of non-political called I Will Try My Best, which I do sporadically. And I will be doing an episode tomorrow night where Juggalette Jen will make her second appearance to talk about what happened with her and Bobby, Nick, and that whole crew. So if anyone's interested, please tune in. That'll again be at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you, Cupcake. You did fucking awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was fun. Thank you.
Just letting you know ahead of time, this is the type of show we usually just bounce, so you don't have to wait through the whole theme song. I'll DM you later or whatever. So you don't have to. Whenever I'm on a show for the first time, I'm like, do I hang back or what do I do? So,
right. That's it.
Yeah, we generally don't hang back.
Yeah, you don't have to hang back. It's Sunday night.
Right on.
Get the fuck out of here. All right. But and Liquid, thank you, my friend. And
yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. Thank you.
awesome.
And also, if you ever want to come on and just talk about politics,
I'm
Yeah,
down. I'm down. Yeah, for sure. I'm in.
Awesome.
I'm in. I love it.
Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Stuff, mumbling, pineapple stuff, dabbling, controversial stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here, and I see K mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air, cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6, Jonesing for your fix of that dabbling politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna touch now. Republicans in, now down. shoot you thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time, so you better get some better views and get saved up on your dime. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabble is blasting out the political shit. The back and forth shit, put bounce in the dabble.